Okay, you have your ball handy. We're just gonna do a couple quick shoulder rolls, maybe walk those feet out a little bit, bring those elbows into it, get a bigger arm, stretch it up and around. My friend, when I was a freshman in college and disco was big, and she used to go to discos all the time. She taught me this, it's a hairbrush. But you can make it a bigger sweep in case you have a beehive hairdo. Really dating myself right now. Good. And then shoulders, we're going to pull them up, back, and down. Drop those shoulders out of your ears, squeeze back, and then pull those ribs in, but keep the squeeze, and then hands come down. All right, let's start right on top of our ball, please. Sorry, fell off. Okay, just right on top of that ball, just give yourself a gentle bounce, raise your right hand, and repeat after me to everyone in your vicinity. I promise, your turn. I will not fall off the ball, your turn. There we go. I'm sure that's binding. Okay. All right, and then we're going to step out with the right foot, step out with the left. In with the right, in with the left. Out, out, in, out, in. That's your first option. Second option, both out at the same time, right? Next option, add arms as if you're doing a jumping jack. And then last option, add actual jumping jacks. Just be careful. Again, we're going to stay on the ball today, right? Keep going. Always an option to do a toe tap if it's too much impact. Almost there. Hopefully we feel our heart rate's coming up. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs go wide, hands on your inner thighs. Woo, extend into a cow position, lift that chest. You could lift the chin just a little if you want. And then exhale, tuck and round, roll into a cat stretch. Inhale to open and exhale to round. All righty. So we're going to walk our feet. Well, I'll face you now and then I'll move around. Couple of quick reminders. Walk your feet so that your ankles, your knees, and your hips are in a nice straight line. And then straighten out those legs. And then as you straighten those legs, pull the belly button in, slide forward so your knees come right over your heels, right? So that should put you back on an angle. This is where I think I'm going to go a little bit sideways for you guys. Right, so we were in a straight line, we hinged, and now we're rolled back. Make sure that head isn't causing you to curl forward. Now let's take a wide stance here and see how that improves our base of support and stability. So keep in mind all the time, wider base is going to be more helpful. Then if you want more challenge, walk your big toes to touch, maybe your ankles and your knees, and see how that creates quite a bit more wobble. So you choose where you want to be. I'm probably going to be hip distance actually a little bit more apart today. And then we're hinged back. So we should be feeling this both in our quads and our abs by this time. Let's just open those arms and increase that feeling. And then we're going to pull the belly button in and roll back about 2 inches and then come up about those same 2 inches. Small movement, arms wide. You're not liking that, bring those hands back together, totally up to you. Beautiful. Go ahead, lie down, roll out a little bit. So now that ball is underneath your torso, but your head is off and your hips are off. Fingertips to the edges of your skull, nod your head yes. Allow the head in this position, not lifting the chin. So chin tuck to drop up and back. Ribs are popped towards the ceiling. All I want you to do is close the ribs into your ball to lift yourself up. Now, if you want, you can also add a little squeeze with your glutes So I drape over the ball and then I'll lift up over the ball, drape over it and then lift up, totally up to you. As always, if you want more resistance, you create a longer lever so you can crisscross your arms, create more resistance over your head. Don't have to do that, but you're welcome to. Good, keep that going for me for a few minutes, please, or a few moments, sorry, not minutes. You coming to join us? All right, and then we're going to roll even a little farther forward so that our head now rests on the ball. Arms are probably going to be open to help your stability. First thing I want you to notice are your hips drooped. All I want you to do is lift your hips. Go to that wide base of support and you should have a nice, beautiful bridge here. You are welcome to stay there, and I'm probably not going to do this today with both legs, or you could walk your feet in toward each other, back to parallel for more challenge, or touching for more challenge. Again, I'm not going to do that right now. And then finally, once you've chosen where you want to be, you can try lifting one foot up at a time. And if you could lift a foot, can you lift a knee into tabletop? And if you could lift a knee, can you lift a leg? And if you can lift a leg, can you do something with it, like draw a circle? So you're going to play with that for a few moments, please. And make sure you're alternating legs. I was using the same one for obvious reasons. If you haven't been alternating, go to the other leg. And if you have been alternating, when you're ready, roll back up on top of the ball. And you want to find a really nice secure spot, because we're going to see we could lift our feet off the ground and hang out on the very top of the ball. Arms can be out to the side. You can hold on to the ball with them, totally up to you. So just trying to find some balance on the very top of that ball. If you can find your balance, I'm going to keep my feet down. You have the option to tuck and tip, tuck and tip. You'd be doing this with your feet off the ground. If you do that, you'd have the option to go side to side, and finally you would do a circle. But all of that is with your feet off the ground. So if you're having issues just getting the feet off the ground, you need to go back to that place. All righty, that was your play time for now. We're going to come down to our mat, please. So bring your ball with you. We're going to bring that ball right above us, shoulders back and down, and lift up. Just a little bit of that shoulder blade awareness. 2 more times like that. And then do it, but pull your ribs in. Then we're going to put that ball on the top of the kneecap, deep breath in. Exhale, roll up a little higher so the ball just goes to the tops of your legs. Then lift that ball overhead, reach for ab breath, and then exhale. Feel free to roll it down your thigh. Deep breath in, exhale to lift. Inhale, stretch and reach, and exhale down. A few more just like that, and then we'll add on a little challenge if you want. When we add on this challenge, it doesn't really change the exercise. It's just entertainment. You drop the ball, you grab the ball when it's over your head, right? So you just have to do a little tiny drop when the ball's overhead, let it bounce, grab it, and then again. So give me 2 more of whatever version you're doing, with or without dropping the ball is fine. And then we're going to lift that ball straight up again, head, neck, and shoulders down. Legs come to tabletop. Put the ball on the knees, deep breath in, exhale, lift up without bringing your knees towards you. Roll the ball a couple inches down your shins, and then extend your legs as you reach your arms over your head, just as you did a moment ago. You can add that little bounce if you want, but you don't have to. Then the knees tabletop, roll the ball a little way down your shin and extend. More challenge will be to come up and roll the ball to your ankles and then back to your knees. But if that causes you to have to use momentum, then of course I'd prefer you not do that. So keep that going for me, please. All right, take your right leg over your left knee. Let those drop to the left as your arms drop over to the right. Little twist here with the ball. Then roll it overhead, come back through center, uncross, recross the other way, arms up, and then drop the other way, please. Come back through center, roll that ball overhead, put your feet on the ground, wide stance with those feet. Take that ball between your inner thighs and then hold it in place and squeeze the ball as hard as you can as if you're trying to pop the ball. Hold it here, nod your head yes, shoulders back and down, relax the squeeze. Do that again for me, exhale, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax the squeeze. 2 more times like that, squeezing as hard as you can. Relax the squeeze 1 more time, squeeze it. You should really feel your inner thighs and therefore a little bit in your low abs. And release. Now you're going to do that same thing. You're going to lift those legs in tabletop. You're going to squeeze that ball as hard as you can as you go into our toe touch exercise. I'm going to use flex feet. That helps me keep that squeeze a little bit better and then back up again. If you want, you can always move that ball farther down your leg, down toward your shins or your ankles, and turn it into double leg lower or toe touch, either one. You're paying attention to what's going on in your abs and your ribs. They're staying flat. Your low back is staying the same distance from the ground. Squeezing that ball on the way down and on the way up. And then take a quick break. You can bring the soles of your feet together. Let those inner thighs get a passive stretch. If you want, just put the ball over your head and hold it, or you can just let your hands rest on top. All right, this time all of us are going to go ahead and go to that straight-legged position with the ball up at the ankles, arms out into a T, and legs go side to side. If you want to, you're going to add on when the legs go to the left, the right foot pivots on top. When the legs go to the right, the left foot pivots on top. Beautiful. Let's bring that down. Take a quick little break. Let's go into our bridge series now. You may need to move your mat, but you can figure that out in a minute after we do this first round. So just lying down, legs extended, abs in. Hands down by your sides, deep breath in. Exhale, press your heels into the ball to lift yourself up. So that's option 1. Option 2, lift your hands off the ground and see how that is for you. Still squeezing here. Option 3, walk the feet to touch and see if you can hover your hands. And then option 4, you probably put your hands back down, lift and lower 1 leg at a time, 3 times. All right, stay where you are, or for a little more challenge, roll the ball in until your feet are over the ball like bird feet. And then again, option to walk things together, to lift your hands, to go back to a single leg lift. Again, if you're doing that, you're choosing to do that 3 times on each leg. And then final option, walk your feet so they're right on top of the ball. Only your heels are touching the ball, and your ball and your hips will be very close together. And again, walk your feet together, lift your arms, try 1 leg at a time, totally up to you guys. If you're doing that 1 leg, you lift and lower 3 times. and relax. Let's all go back to that first position. Ooh, that should feel pretty good. We will stretch out the hammies after this last rendition here. So we're all starting here. We're going to lift our hips up. We're going to roll that ball in. We're going to roll it out. We're going to roll it in, roll it out. Right? So just hamstring work here. You are welcome to stay there or lift one leg up in the air and do a single leg. If you choose to do that, let's do 5 on each leg. Otherwise, double leg. And I lied, we have one more after this, sorry. All right, now we'll all come down again. Woo! Take a quick break. You're welcome. Usually I go right into this next one. Deep breath in, lift both hips up, roll the ball in so you're right here, lift really high, take the bend out of your hips, tap the hips onto the ground, keep the knees the same distance apart. Here we go. We lift, we lower, we lift, lower, lift, lift. And relax. Oh boy. Put the left foot on the ball, left leg on the ball, let it roll to the left, and let's hug that right knee in, please. Whew, give it a nice stretch. You're trying to get that rib and thigh to be close together. Maybe move through that ankle a little bit. And then as you're ready, go ahead and pull those toes back. And let's come into that regular hamstring stretch here. And then that foot relaxes on the ground for a moment. Bring it up and over as you roll your left leg back to center. Press that right leg open. Roll the ball in, and it's a very passive figure 4 stretch. Thread the needle, but it should be really good for that outer right hip. And we'll uncross that right leg. We're straightening it out, rolling it over to the right. Hugging that left knee in, please. Maybe some ankle rotations if that would feel good. When you're ready, pull those toes back, flex through that heel, push it to the sky. Good. Come on back through center with the leg. Left leg crosses the right, and then bring that right knee a little closer for a big thread the needle. Arms reach overhead, legs extend. All right, however you want to get there, you're going to meet me over on your hands and knees, but as you do so, you're going to take your mat and you're going to roll it up so that you have some extra cushioning under your knee, and it's going to take you towards the very back of your mat, please. And then that ball is going to be on the floor, and you are going to be on your knees on that mat. All right, so the first thing we want to do is a deep crouch. So our elbows are almost touching our thighs. The ball is almost touching your forehead. You're a tiny little ball. You start to roll forward. As you do so, you're going to lift your toes up in the air and roll onto the fronts of your thighs. Don't leave your booty out behind you. Bring it with you. Drop and stretch, and you're in a plank. And then pike it back and plank it forward. Now you guys can do full range of motion. I don't really want to roll on my kneecap that much. When you stretch all the way out, tuck the booty in, pull the ribs in. Do about 4 more for me, please. And then you get to relax over the ball. We call it flop. Oh, should feel good. And from there, tuck your toes, straighten your legs, and the ball ends up right underneath your torso. Lots of support here. Just hang out for a moment. And then as you're ready, use your hands to press up into extension. When you want to work your back a little more, come onto your fingertips and press up. If you want to work a little more, bring those elbows out to the side. And finally, if you want, your hands go behind you to help you fly. Beautiful. We're going to work that same area by just walking forward enough that our hips end up being the highest point of us. Right? So we're inverted V. You might be on your hands, you might be on your elbows, you might be halfway. Let your head hang, bring your feet together and lift up that way. If that's uncomfortable, feet can be hip distance apart. Just be aware you want to try and bring them up equally, right? So one leg doesn't lead the way. And relax for a moment. You're going to straighten your arms and make sure that your hands are at least a foot in front of the ball. And they're only a few inches away from each other. So my thumbs only have about 2 inches of space between them. Then I'm going to launch myself up into a plank, right? So notice if your knees are saggy, straighten those legs out. Flex through the heels or point the toes. Don't let your chest be lifted and your belly button sagging, press away. Then elbows are going to come backwards. My legs come up the same amount that my head goes down. So it's like a seesaw as we do Pilates push-ups. If you want more challenge, you walk a little farther ahead, you drag the ball farther underneath your body. So more of your body weight is coming forward. Beautiful. Straighten out those arms and you're in a plank. So we're going to hold this plank. We're going to make it more challenging as we go. If at any point you want to take a break, you can flop over the ball. You can walk backwards if you feel safe, or you can just bring one leg off. Otherwise, walk your hands forward a bit and see if you can drag that ball so it's underneath your thighs. And again, you have to press through those hands, broaden the shoulders, pull the belly button in, straighten the legs, tuck the hips. If you want a little more, walk out a little farther, drag that ball so it comes kind of underneath your knees or shins. Again, press that floor way, be strong through your torso. You can always go a little farther, hands out, drag the ball down towards your ankles. So you find your spot, please. When you feel ready, as I mentioned, you just take your flop. All right, adding on, we're going to tuck our toes again, just like we did before. All right, so we're in that extension position. Lift your right arm up as high as you can. Try and get it out of your eye, out of your peripheral vision. Bring it down. Left hand, same thing. Right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm. Take a break and see if you could lift your arms out into a cactus, a V, or an I. That should be pretty challenging. And then take a break. All right, pitch it forward, hands on the ground, left arm, right leg, lift up, bird dog, lots of support here. Gently bring it down, right hand, left leg. Gently down, one more time each way. And you probably know what's coming, the challenge to lift all 4 limbs. That balance point in your body. Take a break, flop it over. And then you're going to come off that ball. You can leave your mat rolled up for now. Let's sit on that lift. So feet are going to be nice and wide, maybe a little bend in the knees, hands on top of that ball, shoulders back and down, and we're going to press forward in a spine stretch. If you're able, since you're sitting on that mat, you can certainly straighten your legs, but make sure that you don't curl, right? So you lift. It really helps to press down on the ball so you can feel that length in your spine and then head forward. Press down and then head forward. Just keep that going. And then lift that up. We're going to scoot. So we're just using that mat to give us that little bit of a tip, right? If that makes some sense, a little bit of support. And then we'll come into sort of a roll down position, almost shoulders back and down. Exhale, belly button in, go ahead and lean back and then lift that ball up. And just see, play with it for a minute. How far up can you go? And then exhale, lower it and roll back up. Now, if this is bugging you and you just rather have more cushioning, you're welcome to sit back up on it, but you want to pull those glutes out from under you and scoot towards the front of it. So you're just sort of dropping off the end of it. So we hinge back, we lift it up, make it all the way, see if that works for you. Lower the ball before you try to come up. Inhale at the top, hinge it back, lift it up, walk it back up. Inhale, lift at the top if you want, you can add that. Good, give me 5 more of those, please. And then when you finish that 5th one, walk those big toes to touch, ankles and knees, give it a small hinge back, rotate toward me and back through center. So rotation right across your chest, but with those knees, when you come back, make sure they're still together, they're not pistoning. And if you want, that ball can come up and overhead and then to the side. You decide which one feels like it works better for you. And keep that going for me. Just a few more, please. All right, come on back through center. We're coming onto our mat. And again, you can keep it folded for now for some cushioning. You're going to lean into that ball with your right hip. Then you take your left leg on top and in front. Right leg behind. I guess it has to be on top. You're giving yourself some support with that right hand, shoulder, left shoulder back and down. Use that to help yourself lift up. Adding on, maybe just go to fingertips here. Adding on, no hands. Put that on your shoulder. See if you want to lift that top arm. Good, maybe both arms. And we're still in that V. Then we're going to do an L shape with the arms and poke a hole in the ceiling. And relax. Bring that top arm, that left arm up and over. Let the ball roll underneath your right rib cage. To give you a beautiful stretch all through that left side, those obliques. And then as you're ready, come on up again on that same side. But this time stack your legs up and your right hand gets to support you. Lift that left leg, sorry. Make sure it's nice and even with your hip, not below it. Then give me a little flex forward and a point back, small range of motion. Good. Then give me a little lift and a little lower, pointed or flexed. Then put those together, forward, up, back, down. So you're making a circle. Just try not to drop here, right? So keep that leg at hip height as much as possible. And then let's reverse that. And bring that leg down, bend that knee, give it some love. We will stretch it more in a moment. We have that other side to do. So come back down on your knees for me, please. And you're going to put that ball on your left side this time. Lean over, right leg in front, left leg behind. Oh, sorry, hand on the ball. Give yourself some support to help up. Maybe onto your fingertips, onto your shoulder. Feel free to lift that top arm. Feel free to lift that bottom arm, a V if you want. Keep it going. Hi, beauty. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Last two, last one, then we go in that L shape and we poke a hole in the ceiling. And relax. And again, we'll flop and taking that right arm up and over, ball comes underneath you. And then we come on back. This time we put that left hand on the ground. We stack those legs and those hips, abs in. We're going to lift that right leg. We're going to bring it forward with a flex and back with a point, forward and back. Try and get it at hip height. Mine wasn't. Then we do a little lift and lower, pointed or flexed. We put them together. So we circle, keeping that hip up. I can't fall down now. Good. In reverse. Oh no. I cannot swish the cat. Good. And relax. You bring that leg in front, get a little bit of a stretch there. And then when you're ready, come up. Sorry, guys. We're going to do a nice over the ball stretch. So you're going to walk yourself down into the little ball again. Your heels are really close to your hips and your head can drop back and open. Or you can roll up so your head rests on the ball. That feels really luscious. Arms out into a T. You could roll all the way up and over if you want. I'm not doing that one. Just enjoy this beautiful opening across your chest, that stretch for all those muscles in your upper body. And then when you're ready, walk your feet back, roll yourself up. And I'm going to turn to face you. As promised, a little bit of stretching here. However, you're on the ball, so there is that balance issue. So the first thing we're going to try is left ankle across the right thigh. If you feel like, well, I'm going side to side, press your hands into the ball. You want to have that anyway to sit tall. And then you can either push your hips back or fold your torso forward for that outer hip stretch. Then cross that leg all the way over. Give it a little tug. And if you're okay with it, go into a little rotation. Untangle. We'll take right over left this time. Press into the ball to get tall. Hinge your tailbone back or hinge your torso forward. Cross it over, sit tall, little stretch, and if you want to, rotate. Uncross. We're going to go wide again. We're going to open into that cow and round into that cat. Really moving through that chest, and then this time, legs open. Bring that right hand down to the ground if it will work, if it will go there that far. And then that left arm reaches to the sky. Switch it up. Bring those hands down to the ground, hands on your thighs. Take your time. Roll up a vertebra at a time. Inhale in a cow again. Exhale in a cat. Beautiful. We're going to start a gentle bounce. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 4. And on that, when we get to 1, we're gonna stand it up. Not yet. All right, here we go for 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Very nice. Happy Big Ball Day, Earth Day, thank you.